Pozdravljeni, jaz sem Sofia Kalinina, študentka 9. razreda in bi želela predstaviti mojo raziskovalno nalogo. Pa bom jo predstavljala v angleščini, saj je v celoti napisana v angleškem jeziku. So, I would like to introduce my research with the title A Comparison of Learning English as a Foreign Language in Russian and Slovene Primary School. I have the experience of learning English in two primary schools, one in Russia and one in Slovenia, and I have noticed some differences between the learning English and between the students' attitude to it. So to justify my observations, I made a research which I have divided into two parts. The first part is theoretical, in which I briefly described the primary school education in two countries and also compared the English as a foreign language syllabuses in the two countries. The second part was experimental, in which I made a questionnaire for the Slovene and Russian pupils. The hardest part was to make the questionnaire among Russian pupils. To do it, I had to contact the English teacher from the school I used to study at, and also my grandmother helped me to print out the questionnaire and to bring it to the school in Russia. After the pupils of the two countries have solved the questionnaire, I organized the results with the help of my father. So in my research, I used the abbreviation EFL, which means English as a foreign language. So it is teaching of English to students whose first language is not English. These are my hypotheses. The first hypothesis is that syllabuses are fairly alike. The second hypothesis is that more Russian pupils learn English outside school in organized form than Slovene pupils. Slovene pupils use English more often in their free time than Russian students. More Slovene pupils consider English useful in their future life and careers than Russian students. English is more popular among Slovene pupils than among Russian pupils. Russian pupils learn more English at school than by themselves at home. There is no difference in evaluation of pupils' knowledge. Moving to the first hypothesis. I can confirm this hypothesis because, as you see, the total number of lessons doesn't differ much in the two countries. There are 33 more lessons of English in Russia, and also students are supposed to reach quite the same level of knowledge of English. Students in Russia are supposed to reach the level of A2 by the end of schooling, and students in Slovene school are supposed to reach the level of A2 or B1. Those levels are levels of proficiency according to the CEF. CEF is Common European Framework, which delivers the levels of proficiency to help the learners to measure their knowledge. Second hypothesis says that more Russian pupils learn English in organized form outside school. For example, they take more English courses. And it was totally true. As you see, the orange color, this is the percentage of Russian pupils, is much bigger than the percentage of Slovene pupils, the blue color. My next hypothesis was that Slovene pupils use English more often in their free time. And it was, and I could totally confirm this hypothesis, because as you see, the blue color, that 72% of Slovene pupils, for example, often watch TVs in English, while only 9% of Russian pupils, the orange color, do. So there is a big difference. My next hypothesis was that Slovene pupils consider English more useful in their future life and careers. And I can't confirm this hypothesis because according to the questionnaire, more Russian students think that English will be essential in their future life, but more Slovene pupils say that it would be very useful, but not essential. So the fifth hypothesis was that Russian pupils prefer other languages besides English, while Slovene pupils prefer English. And I have to disprove this hypothesis because English is the most favorite language among students from both countries. The sixth hypothesis was that more Russian pupils get the most of English knowledge at school than by learning it at home or taking additional courses. And it was completely true. More than half of Russian pupils do learn more knowledge of English at school. The seventh hypothesis was that the evaluation of pupils' knowledge from both countries doesn't differ much. I can totally confirm or disprove this hypothesis because the percentage of pupils from both countries thinking that they understand the text right without mistakes doesn't differ much. But there are more Slovene pupils thinking that they speak English fluently, that they understand the conversation songs in English, or that they could handle any life situation in English. This graph shows the example where we can see a difference considering this hypothesis, and Slovene pupils on the left. So 90% of Slovene pupils on the left think that they do understand the conversation songs in English, while only 68% of Russian pupils do. So this is kind of an exception. So thank you for your attention. Do you have any